I've got too many bills.
If you need funds, you can apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and have the money in your account as soon as the same business day.
Okay, got it. Applying now.
They've been helping hardworking people cover emergency expenses since 2004.
Hey, look, I got it.
You've got this.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See cashnetusa.com for more details.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed. That's get-blitz.com. Get Blitz Let's Aid is nano-infused THC syrup, and it is a premium cannabis-infused syrup formulated with nanotechnology for fast-acting effects. And you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off. Head to get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, 15% off. It's one of a kind, baby.
You feel me? I hope you do.
Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam!
I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
What's up? Hey, it's Dominic D'Angelo of OneTrueSportTV.com, but I'm here today live on RVDTV.com and Rob Van Dam YouTube channel with none other than who is it? You know the person on the other side of the screen?
Dude, you're talking about me. That's my cue. Hey, everybody, it's Rob Van Dam. Sorry, I just got here and like I was here, but I wasn't here, and I didn't know, and I missed my music.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, yeah, you're
What
here.
up?
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Super dude, fantastic. Yeah. Another week went by. It's trash day already.
What a day. I know. The week just flies by, and then you got to take the trash out. That's what happens.
And every week when I do it, I think of you saying, Devon, get the trash.
Devon, get the trash.
I
gotta shove somebody. I got to shove somebody and tell them, Devon, get the trash. Hey, guys, we're live, though, and we got some regulars in the house. We got Jem the Dawn in the house. We got Triple E in the house. We got some newcomers, Brandon Mitchell, Brian Waniski, Curtin Jerker. Shout out to everybody. Guardian Andrew here. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them. Always helps to use the super chat. That'll definitely get your question asked and answered. Jem the Dawn, I think you did ask a question last week. Ask it again because I did miss that super chat. I think you maybe were just saying something, but go ahead and put it again, and I'll be sure to pop it up here. But either way, feel free to ask a question to Rob. Also, while you have the time, be sure to like, subscribe, whether you're on Rob's YouTube channel or RVDTV.com. And also, do not forget to sign up for Only Wrestlers. Rob's new venture going on. It got hot. Her first hot event happened on March 20th, and we got more planned coming up for that. So very exciting times for that. Rob, any updates regarding developments or anything like that?
We had a great meeting today with several additions that we're going to be adding to the platform to make it better, as well as things we're looking forward to doing in Chicago. So right now, I can't divulge specifically what some of those very creative RVD ideas were, but we're always growing. So that's cool. That's why, like, When I do these interviews on podcasts, I tell everybody what Only Wrestlers is. I feel like eventually you'll check it out if you haven't already, and it's like, that's cool because we just get better and better and better. And we're always adding improvements, whether it's on the technology side, like of the website, or whether it's just implementing ideas to, just to keep the agenda going or things the fans would appreciate. So pretty exciting. Looking forward to the next one, and really looking forward to some of the things that we talked about today. I look forward to bringing those to the public ears very soon.
How many people do you collaborate with on this ultimately, Rob? Like how many other people? I know Katie, obviously, but
yeah, there's 3 others.
Okay, nice.
Group of 5, 5-time.
Sucker.
5. I'm not good at this. I mean, I do. No, but anyway, 5-time. There we go. So yeah, all going good. And check it out when you get a chance. See if it's for you. It's free to subscribe to RVD or to KD or to OW or to some of the other wrestlers as well. So
yes, I'm gonna make myself free on there too, and I'm gonna start posting some content on there as well. Can I do written content on there too, Rob? Do you know, like just write posts?
There's a feed which your daily feed, which I believe you can like blog post on there.
Okay, sweet.
You can add because it gives you the choice: add video, add photo, or add text. So yeah, you can do that too.
Hell yeah. I kind of want to do like a hotline thing almost or something.
Yeah, well, and some of the free ones I might be temporary. Like some of the wrestlers still aren't doing content yet, and they're building up subscribers, but they haven't given content yet, and that's fine when it's free. When they're paying, that's on my agenda right now. I got a bunch of wrestlers that I need to contact and say, hey guys, you got people paying that have subscribed to you. Do you need some help posting or whatever? And that's actually on my list of stuff to do this week ASAP. So we got to get the wrestlers used to using it and the fans used to going on there, and got some good ideas for that as well.
Heck yeah. I got to give a shout out to another Robert here. There's another Robert in the house. He's actually my co-host for Rumor and Innuendo, our daily news show, former WE writer. So shout out to Robert Karpolis. Yes, I'm drinking another beverage. Rob, have you ever had an Arnold Palmer spiked one of these things?
I maybe. I don't know. Maybe once. Good. Yeah. maybe once or maybe never. I don't know.
Are you still on your champagne kick? Are you still doing the champagne stuff?
Not as much. When I am drinking, it's usually either champagne or an IPA beer, and the IPA beer fills me up a lot more. So it depends on if I feel like being full. It's the end of the night. I just want to have a drink after flying all day to get to Pittsburgh, and I want to have a beer to raise my spirits and go to bed. Or if I want to have a couple earlier in the day to pick me up, then usually, the champagne's like light,
Yeah. Dude, so, IPAs are heavy duty, man. They knock me on my ass.
yeah, that's usually, and I still at this age don't know when they say, do you like hoppy or do you like more barley? I'm like, I mean,
just something, I guess, right?
I've heard of it before.
Darren Staley asks if you're a mimosa man. Do you like mimosas?
I like them fine, but I usually just ask for a mimosa without the orange juice because I don't want the extra sugar.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Man, yeah, I'm always up. I'm a vodka tonic guy. I like vodka cranberry, all that kind of stuff.
They usually gets a pop too when I ask for a mimosa without the orange juice because they think about it in their head. They're like,
wait a second.
Oh, a champagne, sure.
Oh, sure. The mimosa without the orange juice. Oh, okay. We haven't done one of these. Well, an official one, I guess. Curtain Jerker asked this, Rob. Rob, are you going to do more RVDology videos since you've got Only Wrestlers? How do you want it? Love learning from the book of RVD.
What did the Only Wrestlers have to do with it? I missed. How do you want it?
So, are you going to do some more RVDology videos once you've got Only Wrestlers? How you want it?
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
in other words, if my time and energy is going towards that, will I go back to RVDology? I was just thinking about that. I don't know. I have some interest in doing it, but it's not like at the top of my priority list. So I hope so. That's the truth. I hope so. I do. I would like to do it, but it takes a lot of work, and I don't have people like that are editing and different camera angles or whatever, and I'm not very savvy. So what happens a lot when I do RVDology is I'll realize halfway into it that I don't have the microphone on or something like that.
No.
It pisses me off so much that the last several I've done, I've had to do like 3 times. And one of them, the one with the scumbag G douche, when I talk about his ridiculous ass trying to sue me for money, thinking that he's going to make his fucking dreams by reaching into my pockets. Man, I really wanted that one to get out, and for some reason the audio was so low on it you can barely hear it. And by the time I found out when I was done, I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna redo this one." I talked for how long I talked for 20 minutes, whatever it was, and so that stuff gets frustrating, and that's what's going to push back against me thinking, do I want to sit down and pull the green screen down and put together an RVDology episode? Like, what I have going against that is my record of failed attempts for for what I got out there right now. So I don't know. I hope so.
Dude, one of the first big interviews I had was with Cody Rhodes when AEW just started. And so I was like, I sat down and it was over the phone. It was a phone interview. AEW set it up, and like I had the recording going and everything like that. And once I finished, I realized it wasn't recording. I missed the whole interview. And so what I literally had to do was like, remember the quotes that I was for sure he said. Like, I kept that in my head, but then I just had to write a feature article. Like, I didn't get the audio. I was so
Yeah.
that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens a lot of times when I go to do an RVDology. I can't get the camera to work, and right now what I do is I just use the camera that's on my iMac, and it works great. I don't know if I can do that while I'm using the green screen and trying to what do you call it? Like it's not live, but I guess it's, I don't know. We're doing a feed. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like a stream?
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking for a stream.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, if I can use this camera, that automatically will fix probably at least 33% of my problems, because that's often every time I'm like, why can't I see the camera? And it's plugged in, and I keep checking it 1,000 times, make sure it's plugged in, and check the selection back and forth. No, I have it on. I should be able to see it, and I hate that shit.
Oh God, yeah, it's so frustrating. So I used to, like, all my interviews were done over the phone, like over a cell phone, and I'd literally put a recorder beside my phone and record the audio that way. So Rob, when I first interviewed you, you were talking about Headstrong. That's when you were kind of making the promotional run for Headstrong and stuff like that. I literally was at Whole Foods, and I locked myself into one of the closets that they had there, and I just like recorded for 20 minutes with you talking on my phone like that and getting it that way. So it's just like, but I'm awful. Sometimes I fuck it up, and now it's just like, oh God, like, what am I doing here? What's going on?
Yeah.
So,
by the way, FYI, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, I went the whole show and never sparked up a doobie. Wanted to see if you'd noticed. You didn't notice, and I didn't see any comments either. I was kind of surprised, but just because I figure some people are waiting to see it or whatever, but I guess not. But I'm always, like, I always throw the Easter eggs in.
yes, Easter eggs.
I got my action figures up there right now. But
Oh man,
yeah.
take a look there. Oh, I see it. The ultimate. I see the ultimate edition there.
Those are all like in a year they put 4 of them out.
Damn.
If I'm not mistaken, the one being the recalled and then put back out with the tiger outfit. Or no, the tiger outfit came first.
The Japan outfit, right?
Recalled in the same box, but then they recalled that one. Yeah, it was the same box. That's why I was confused. But
Okay. I have the tiger outfit one.
I should put that one out too.
I should put your figure behind here too, actually. I have your figure over there somewhere.
I mean, I earned it, Dom.
You have. You really have, Trump. I could put you by Homer down here, Homer Simpson. So I got a lot of stuff happening. All right. You dropped something. Somebody's asking, what's the strain of the day? Do you have a strain of the day going on, Rob?
I don't know what I'm smoking. I never do. I never do know what I'm smoking unless I happen to have a package and it says on it, and that's usually like if it's from a pot store, it's a gift because I usually don't go there and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I got a quarter pound that's a mixture of 2 kinds of fire.
Oh, damn. Darren Staley, I can answer this question for you, but I'll pop it up here too. Tony Schiavone recently talked about going to a Chicago concert, the band. Is RVD a Chicago fan because their songs have been in my head since Tony said that? Baby, What a Big Surprise is their best song, in my opinion. Rob, we've talking about music plenty of times on here. So.
Yes, I have. And I mean, the short answer is no, but I'm not a fan. Like I try to consider myself supportive of people that are going for it, that have dreams, that set them apart, that try to live out lives the way that they want to. And that's a general blanket that I'm a fan of anyone that's out there crushing it. Like, hey, good on you, keep doing it. Other than that, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't. I mean, if I heard a Chicago song, I would know it, but I don't know them to be like, okay, that's a Chicago song. But I did watch it from Kevin Nash's recommendation. There was a documentary about Nashville songwriters, and it talked about the process of them going through it and kind of like the struggle that you were just talking about of like them trying to make it in the business and like trying to survive and like kind of pursuing that dream, getting declined. It was a really fascinating documentary. It made me think about like, wow, there's so many correlations you can do that with like any kind of, goal that you have, like creative goal, like wrestling or anything to that effect. And I thought the comparison and the analogies was pretty similar in a lot of ways of that struggle going on. So it's kind of neat. Got to remember what the name of that documentary is though.
Yeah. Sounds interesting.
For quite a while now, and it's always good to have him on board. I'm a huge Mount Fuji advocate, and I always feel great. The spray is awesome. The bar of soap is tremendous. I love the bar of soap, and the deodorant stick itself, it's great. You cannot beat it, and they have so many options that you can combine and get in with your starter pack too. So let's get to it. Mando is such a great product, and I just love the aspects of it all when it comes to what my everyday life. If I'm in a pinch and everything like that, I just use that deodorant spray anywhere, and then you smell dang good. Doesn't even matter. So there's whole body deodorant, and it was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was misdiagnosed and mistreated. All products are baking soda free and paraben free as well. So you can choose from a variety of scents like bourbon leather, which is really good. That's a good choice. Clover Woods. Not familiar with that one, but I am very familiar with Mount Fuji, which is my number one. Or you can get Pro Sport too if you're super duper active and you like to make sure you're smelling good at the gym too. I always do that too. Mount Fuji covers those bases as well. So without further ado, Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code RVD at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Love saying that. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Hey, what else is interesting is you got some feedback, right? You got some pretty wild feedback when it comes to what your thoughts were about the Jon Moxley bat spike spot, and then that people calling you names, everything like that, and a lot of feedback, huh, Rob?
Yes, and well, I guess Katie just showed up or just got here, so there's going to be some barking in the background. But yes, and I look forward to talking about that. I spent some time on X recently, a day, maybe 2 days, trying to get through to some of the trying to make my way through the densest woods on the planet. And in the end, I realized ignorant people are divided into the near hopeless, and that's because they don't want to learn. They want to defend their argument, whether they're right or not. They don't care. They're in it for the fight. And then some ignorant people just don't know better, and they don't know. These people don't know what the word hypocrite means. Wait till I get to that. But before I get to that, did you get us? Do you have a Smackback logo?
Oh, I got a Smackback graphic. Take a look at this. Boom.
Have a look. Bam. Okay. Okay. and we need a bell. Ding.
We do need something. Hold on. Let me see if I have anything on here. I have the You Feel Me. Hold on. The timing's gonna be off though, Rob. Just so you know. Hold on. Boom. And then we got.
Feel me.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll work on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Hey, baby.
It's okay.
The dog.
Hey.
Did you have a good workout? Yeah. Cool. All right. So, everybody, I stayed on X for a long time, and if you were privy to it, if you saw it, maybe I'm talking to some of you. If you joined this argument, because it's not even a debate, because people go into stupid areas, and let me start with this. Okay, first off, I'm going to say this, because the whole thing is a mistake. The whole thing is a misunderstanding. If you are ignorant enough to read a quote taken out of context and then actually put your name on a comment on how you feel about something that's bigger than that quote. In other words, you think you know how this person feels because a quote was taken out of context, and you feel so confident about it, you're going to fight to the death for your position against how this person supposedly feels because of what you read. First off, if that's you, raise your hand. Okay. Okay. You probably hopeless unless you realize that what I'm saying makes sense. Okay. So first off, some of you go ahead and leave the room right there. Everyone else, listen to this. If your perspective was, and you were part of this, and you had your feelings, if your perspective was that you think that I was bashing AEW, boom, you're wrong. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if that's what you think. Okay. Now, I didn't bash AEW. I wouldn't bash AEW. And it seems to me by far the worst part about AEW, and I hope this quote gets picked up, is the fans on IWC. The fans are so ignorant. Here's what I said. I'm going to say it again. So if it hurt to hear it the first time, you're going to hear it again. I'm going to tell you what I did say, okay? My whole career in ECW, even before that, the matches that Sabu taught me were garbage matches, which included all the weapons and gore and had wrestlers that didn't even have to know how to wrestle to be in the match, okay? Those have always been at the bottom of the list of my favorite matches. That's my opinion. If you don't think I have a right to say that because I was in ECW, not only does that not make any sense, but you're one of the idiots that needs to realize that there's room to learn. You must empty water out of that empty head so you can get knowledge in there, as Bruce Lee said. So here's the thing. Those matches, especially the ones that have like thumbtacks, glass, fire, fish hooks, and when they have the competitors in there that don't do a single wrestling move and they don't even have to know how to wrestle, quote, to me, that's not wrestling. The more AEW does things like that, like the Jon Moxley spiked bat thing, and I think that they're heading in that direction more, and I think WWE is heading into more like old school WWE storytelling in the ring and less of let's stick a knife through someone's cheek, burn their house down, go for shock value. The more that they seem to be two separate styles, which I'm fine with, the more I personally would rather have RVD, the wrestler, associated with WWE. Now, if you heard that and you still feel like I'm bashing AEW, you need to check yourself. You're way too defensive because I'm not. And I'm not even bashing that spot. I don't like that spot. And then, but the people don't understand. The fans are so challenged that they hit me with things, like, well, if you did that kind of stuff and you're saying you don't like it, you're a hypocrite. That's not what a hypocrite is. You know what? I don't like to be in mixed tag matches, but I did them. Does that make me a hypocrite? I even drew a cartoon to try to make a point because people, the challenge didn't understand. Can you bring that cartoon up? Can you show? Because of what they said, and it's a cop saying, stay away from drugs, do your homework. But Officer Friendly, my uncle worked for your department, and he and my dad got high when they were 16. You're a hypocrite, because that's what they're saying. If you say stay away from drugs and you worked somewhere where somebody else was doing drugs, then you're a hypocrite. That is literally what they were telling me on X, and it's stupid. So even back when I was in ECW, and especially back then, because I had that competitive state of mind, one idiot said, oh, Rob might want to try and distance himself from that, but that's not cool. It was ECW. I tried to distance myself from that shit when I was in the company with it. When Axel Rotten had a barbed wire bat, I tried to distance myself from it because I didn't want to get hit with it. I didn't want it to rip my outfit up. When Terry Funk and Sabu had a barbed wire match, I went out there to help Sabu and made a point of having gloves, had a long sleeve shirt and gloves and scissors to cut around the wire because that was so not my thing, and that was the point of it. But for some of these ridiculous mentally challenged fans, they just have a symbol of what I was, and they remember me rolling around in glass and blood, I guess. Show some of the comments on X of these. Sure. They think they're smart. They're defending their position so hard, and all I'm saying is I never did like it. So if I say right now, not my favorite thing, that doesn't make me a hypocrite. You're foolish for not just tapping out and saying, oh, I guess that makes sense. But for some people, they do not understand common sense. So let's tear a couple of them apart here.
Yep. Here's one of them. Okay.
And this was the point, because they said, if you did it and then you're saying that you didn't like it, you're a hypocrite. That's not what it means. Okay. I hated doing the West Side Story mock Survivor Series commercial. I hated it. But somebody corrected me and said, wasn't that the Royal Rumble? I guess
it was the Royal Rumble, but yeah. It
was a music video where they had to say, come on, everybody, sing louder. And I was faking. Every time the camera would be on me, I'd be like, bah, 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 bah. I hated it. I don't sing and I don't dance. And even as an entertainer, as a wrestler, I hated doing what I did, that commercial, but I did it. That makes me a hypocrite? How? You're stupid. If you take cash, you're being a hypocrite, my dude, says Mr. Nobody. So because I got paid to do something, so in other words, if my job is to clean up dog poop, do I have to like it or else I'm a hypocrite?
Right.
Like I have to be like, I love the ability to help reorganize the fertilization system of my economic systems. I love it. There's some poo poo. No. I got your poo poo. Let me get it. You have to be like that. If you pick up shit and then you say afterwards, "Oh God, I gotta go to work." Wait, is everyone that says, "Oh God, I gotta go to work," a hypocrite?
Right.
Let me. If you take cash, you're being a hypocrite, my dude. You made your name in ECW. Maybe you didn't like the stuff that went on. You could have left. Why would I have left? Wouldn't it? I mean, I didn't hate it enough to not want to work there. Why the hell would you even say that? How does that make sense? Wouldn't that be based on my values and how much I just didn't care for it?
Right.
I mean, we're in competition there. All of us wrestlers are back there saying, hey, fuck that guy, fuck them cokeheads, fuck them alcoholics over there. And then we're smoking weed and we're, and they're saying the same thing about us. And it's competition. It's not a big party like when you guys do it in your backyard. It's not. Everyone's getting paid different. Everyone has to get told by one main man who's going up and who's going down because you don't want to go down. You think wrestlers like losing and putting the other wrestler over? That's a big part of it. And it's business. And anyway, let's see what else we can learn from Mr. Nobody. I could have left because you know what? I didn't like the smell of the bathroom at the ECW arena. I could have left.
Or you know what, Rob? It's like almost like, hey, I work in a grocery store. I'm a vegan, but there's the meat department still in the grocery store, but I still work in the grocery store.
I think you're a hypocrite. I think that makes you a hypocrite according to these ridiculous people. Like, yes. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure we're done with him, though. Instead, for content, you complain about the people doing it now. I love that. Like, if Mr. Nobody had a X account where there's like 1 million people following it, I wonder what interesting content he would pick since he doesn't approve of mine. He probably doesn't approve of me calling him out now either then. Oh, shucks, Mr. Nobody. I just can't. Oh, I like this part. It's not a good look.
Not a good look, Rob.
Thank you for saving me and my image, Mr. Nobody. You've done so much, dude. I want to thank you again. And again, according to you, if somebody takes cash for doing something and they don't like it, then you think that's the meaning of a hypocrite.
Right.
Stupid. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
I believed, because I asked him, same thing about the dog poop. I said, if I'm digging ditches in the hot heat, sweating my balls off, getting bit by mosquitoes, and then later on I say, man, this job sucks. Does that make me a hypocrite? And according to Chicken Wing, I'd say that if you believed within your heart that digging ditches in the heat was garbage and that it sucked, but you still did it anyway, having the choice to not do it, you'd be considered a hypocrite. So obviously, the problem is these people don't know what a hypocrite is, okay? We got the definition right here. Let's see if they're using hypocrite in the correct way. It says the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs. There's the problem. The fans don't know how to apply morality to anything because they don't have any. So now they don't know that it has to do with your morals. What the fuck does your job have to do with morals? What the fuck does having a match with Janice have to do with morals? You see, being a hypocrite is not a good thing. It's if someone says you're a hypocrite, if someone says you're a liar, if someone says you smell like shit, those are generally considered not good things to be, maybe even bad qualities to have. Now, if you're listening to this and you're still disagreeing with me, answer this question to yourself. Is being a hypocrite a good thing, a bad thing, or a neutral thing? Got your answer? Hold on to that answer, okay? Now, if a man does 9 years for robbery, when he gets out, if he tells people, hey, don't steal, is he a hypocrite? And if so, Is that a good or bad thing? Because do you think he should tell people steal? Man does time for crime, and when he gets out, you think he should tell other people to do it? Otherwise, he's a hypocrite? Or you don't think being a hypocrite's a bad thing? Because you got to choose one or the other if you think you're right. And that's where you're confused because you don't have any morality. You don't have the morals. And that's where you're confused. It's not, hey, if your mom tells you, quiet down, you think she's a hypocrite because her mom had to tell her quiet down when she was 3? Your parents tell you don't shit your pants. Are they a hypocrite? Because mom, when you wore diapers, you shit your pants. Grandma, that you think that's a hypocrite? That's not what it is. Being a hypocrite is a life of duality where you're living 2 different ways at the same time by lying. Like you, and I'm addressing this to you, fans on X, okay? If you tell the person you're in a relationship with that you're not going to cheat on them and that you love them and you're faithful, but at the same time you're cheating on them and you're unfaithful, now you are a hypocrite. That's exactly what the fuck it means, all right? If you tell someone you're arguing with, it's all in your head, dude. That's not even the way it happened. You're crazy. And in reality, that's exactly how it happened. It's not in their head. You're gaslighting them. Guess what? You're a hypocrite. It's a horrible fucking person to be. And you don't understand if you think that someone that would advise somebody not to do something that they did before because they grew from it, and you think that's a bad thing, or you think hypocrisy is a good thing. One or the other. Because basically you don't know what hypocrisy means. So it does not conform. Pretense. Yeah, it's that's fake. That's what it means. Okay. The target was the hypocrisy of suburban life. Okay, yeah, it's not a good thing. You don't say, oh, he's a hypocrite, but we all are because, we all say, don't piss the bed, but, we pissed the bed. I pissed the bed till I was 5. So I'm a hypocrite for saying that, but it's not a bad thing. Stupid. What else you got?
We got this one next, Rob.
Okay, this was a good point. I mean, this was a guy that obviously understood my point, and I just thought it was worth, maybe it would make sense. Maybe like 3 more ignorant people might jump the fence and actually learn something here. Author of A Clockwork Orange hates that all of his works, that's the one that people like. Clockwork Orange, same deal. I'm glad you liked my One Piece. It's not my favorite. Sucked making it, but cool that you like it. Sorry I didn't like it as much as you. You guys think he's a hypocrite, right? By your definition?
Yeah.
Don't use words that you don't know what they mean. Stupid. And he's got a point. I can say that about a lot of stuff in my career, with acting and with wrestling. I mean, show up and they're like, hey, it's you and Luther Reigns. Luther's going over. What? Man, fuck that. I got to put Luther Reigns over? Great guy, but dude, I'm RVD and we're just coming. This is my return to Tokyo. I'm senpai now, a big star. And I grew and they saw me when I was younger. It's a big deal. And you just got a guy you're going to try and push for a few weeks and then you're going to quit pushing him when it doesn't work. And in the meantime, you had to have me do a job. I did it. I'm a hypocrite, according to these people.
Jeez.
Go ahead to the next one.
Next one.
Okay. Did it happen under the ECW banner? Yes. Was RVD a part of ECW? Yes. He may want to distance himself and act like it wasn't me. This is the one that I brought up. But he was a major part of a company that did crazy shit where a suplex on a spike would be considered tame. It's so crazy. We all had our own stuff. And me and Sabu used to look at Balls and Axel, and we thought they were gross because they always were bleeding, always had blood all over them. And they like to have, a lot of times they have thumbtacks in them, staples in them. Sometimes Balls would be sitting there at 1 a.m. in the lobby of the hotel drinking, still in his gear, sweaty, smelly, with Band-Aids on his head, and got tacks and staples and shit in his arm. He loved it. I'd never loved it. That was never wrestling to me. That wasn't something I wanted to do. That wasn't my style, you know. The gangsters. I honestly didn't know if New Jack could do a headlock, you know. Now that I've had so much more life and I get a much bigger picture of everything, now I understand that he did know how to do a headlock and that was his style. But back then, when we were competitive in that state of mind, you know, we were watching our backs in the dressing room and stuff. I used to always think, man, they do those garbage matches because there's not one wrestling move in the whole match, you know, and so they do it so they don't have to wrestle. Maybe they don't. I knew Mustafa knew how. I'd wrestled him actually in WCW way back before ECW, and the lights went out in a house show in Florida, where they go spring breaking in the Panhandle there, Tallahassee, or
is it the fucking
Pensacola? You're right. That's what it is. Anyway,
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I used to, and if you hear me doing interviews from 1998, 99 or whatever, I'd probably say, you know, I don't know, New Jack knows how to do a headlock. I've never seen him do a wrestling move. That wasn't my thing back then, now, tomorrow. So for this guy to say, because I was a major part of the company and that the company did crazy shit, he thinks that I should take credit for all that crazy shit. And somehow by me saying that I would prefer to be associated with this style instead of this style, somehow by saying that, he thinks that I'm trying to distance myself. And that's something too. Some of the people, the fans, they think that comments come from who's paying you.
Surprise bill? Need fast funds? CashNet USA can help. When you need money fast, be the hero.
Apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and get a fast decision. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
And that's another example of they don't know me. They don't know that I've always been transparent and been clear and opinionated no matter what company I've ever worked for. But I got a track record that nobody bothers. But if they're not even bothering to see the actual interview and they're going to put everything on the line with the quote taken out of context, then they're definitely not going to do any due diligence and look up interviews from me from back in the day to see if I'm consistent or not. It doesn't matter to them. To them, they're going to use a big word and make them feel special.
Well, this guy's also like being hyperbolic too, because he's like, that did crazy shit where a suplex on a spike would be considered tame. I don't think in any context of any wrestling that would necessarily be tame, right? Like you're fucking potentially paralyzing yourself if you land on that thing wrong.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I hated when New Jack and Vic Grimes had their fight of heights. You know,
yeah,
they were going higher and higher, and it was so sloppy. It wasn't like those. It wasn't like it was a lot like what I see with the garbage wrestling, where instead of a move, two guys grab each other and both jump. It was kind of ugly like that, but I think it was because New Jack was falling and grabbed him and pulled him over. From what I've learned from interviews. But anyway, dangerous as fuck. He came down crashing, bounced off the top rope. He could have been paralyzed and shit. And it wasn't like because I was on that card, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just because you're, or like, if you even want to go another route too, look at like, hey, fucking D. Malenko wrestled in ECW as the shooter. Like, had those, him and Eddie had those matches. So in that ecoscape, are they going to be hipper? I don't think Eddie would have liked that spike spot by AEW. I don't think he would have been okay with something like that. Just taking a guess there, but throwing it out there, you know?
It's crazy when when these fans reveal their thought process and you really look at it and it's like, do they have a job? Do they know what it's like to work with a whole bunch of other people? Or do they think that everybody is all in love with each other with one common goal, and that's to get everybody else over except for themselves or something?
Right. It's weird. It's weird. All right, here, Rob. Here's the next one.
Okay, good. She really straightened me out because here I didn't know until she told me what wrestling's all about. But Kimberly says, I love RVD, but bro is acting like being a pro wrestler is a normal job. I don't know how she got that. It's a job. You can take normal out. It's definitely a job, Kimberly Valerie. Before you told me this, I thought it was like you show up somewhere at a place to work, people have plans for you, they tell you what you're going to do, and then you do it and do your best at it. That's what I thought. I guess I don't know, though.
No, Rob. If you enjoy what you do, too, that doesn't make it a job, Rob.
I guess not. And to her, a normal job is holding a sign to advertise an event. So I guess what she means is she doesn't have any skills to follow a career, and she's cool with minimum wage jobs because she lives with her parents and doesn't like feed her family off of what she's doing. Because for me, that kind of makes it a job if I'm feeding my family off of the work that I'm doing. But let me keep going because she says a lot. Brother, you are an actor and an athlete. Usually actors and athletes enjoy their work. I gotta say, I looked it up. I looked up the happiest people on the planet. It's actors and athletes.
Wow.
Yeah, because they always get treated the way that the agents say. Everything's always right on time. And with actors, like there's never any time sitting in a trailer all day with wardrobe and makeup, thinking that you're going to film next, but they can't get the shot right. There's never any time when you got to do the scene over and over and over and over because there's some sound or something that they don't pick up. And that's why actors are always smiling, and athletes too. That's why you never see an actor or athlete depressed or committing suicide. They're all just the happiest people on the earth. And I completely forgot about that till Kimberly told me. Yeah, that's why they all are so happy to stop dinner and turn and take a picture and an autograph with you too. And, no one's ever assholes or anything about that or grumpy. That's why they don't beat their wives. Not NFL players or NBA players. You never see them getting into any tussles like that because they're happy.
They're happy.
Okay. Being a pro wrestler, it's not something most people do for work. Most people that wrestle do it for work, but it's not what most people, meaning the over 7 billion people on the planet, it's not something most of them do for work, if that's what you mean. That's not what she means. She means we don't do it for work, not like holding a sign. If you hold a sign, that's a job. That's a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hold a sign, bro. You can spin it. You can fucking flip it if you're good at it and dance and get people's attention and have them honk. That's something aspiring to be. But wrestling, being a pro wrestler, is not something most people do for work. It's generally something people choose to do because they enjoy doing it. Yay. And they make it a way to make money doing work.
Rob, I thought you did this all for free, and I just thought you got really popular, and for some reason you just somehow survive. I don't know how.
You know what? I gotta have a talk with Kimberly, see if she'll go visit Uncle Sam with me, because all these years I've been paying taxes as if I had a job.
Holy smokes.
So silly.
Rob, does that mean I make more money than you? Is that what that means right now?
I don't know. I just do it because it's fun.
That's what I
wish I had time to do another full-time job while I was still wrestling. But while I was traveling 300 days a year, being away from home, being with all these wonderful, They're wrestlers. How can I not be happy? It's not like they're adulterers farting on the bus trying to measure each other's dicks and stroke each other off with their stories. It's not like that. It's fun. And these are the guys I grew up with. So obviously, you can't spend enough time and have enough fun with a situation like that. So here I was, 300 days a year, turning down any invitation that I ever got to do any parties or weddings or whatever, because I'm either going to be on the road or it's going to be the 1 or 2 days that I'm sleeping to go have more fun and more partying. But Kimberly, thank you for putting that into perspective. I don't know what I was thinking, but she obviously knows it. And actors too. I remember, matter of fact, shooting the Black Mass 2 in Thailand. This thought just comes to me. And the catering there, it was so great. And it was so great. Tiny Lister, Zeus, Tiny from Friday, he was so happy. I remember him yelling at the people in catering so that they could experience his joy. And I remember specifically him saying, "Look at this. I can't eat this. My mama can't make me eat this." And he was so happy.
Yeah, right? Because he loves what he does.
Yes.
It's not work, Rob. It's not work.
Kimberly knows. Kimberly knows. So, and then there's one more?
Yep.
Let's go to the next one. This has been fun talking about all this. And I can't believe anyone listening actually has a counterpoint, because what I'm doing is speaking English, making sense, and trying to tell you are wrong. But I know a lot of you can't hear it, and hopefully it'll get me some more fun conversation on X this week. Yeah. Okay. So here's the same Kimberly. This explains a lot. Okay. RVD is literally telling people how to put the fries in the bag. Laugh my ass off. That's literally why we are fooling on him right now. Maybe learn to read, babe. So obviously, Kimberly doesn't know what literally means either.
No.
She doesn't know what literally means. None of them know what hypocrite means. And that's something that I learned. And so a lot of you that say, why do you waste your time arguing with these idiots? It's because I have the platforms to put the stuff on. It's because all of you are also listening. And some of you will find it entertaining. And some of you, maybe it'll make you think. I had one guy, I said, hey, do you think being a hypocrite is a bad thing or no? And then I said, if someone has a bad experience, here's an example, right? Ugh, this is gross. Taste this. Does that make me a hypocrite? I mean, where do you draw the lines?
Yeah, right.
Stupid. That word moral, you saw the word moral, didn't you?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Fans can't see moral. They don't know what it means. They thought, M-O, I'll just skip that one. I don't know what that means, because they don't have morality, because they're just marks in the IWC that just want to fight, and they just want a W. They just want to win something. They don't care if they're wrong or not. They want to win an argument, and they don't care how stupid they sound, because there's no accountability, because it's social media. Me, they'll remember everything that I said. And not only that, the things that they think I said, which is worse. Stupid. Somebody said something. I saw a post where there was something about blood. They said, "Oh, be careful. RVD might get upset at the blood." Off of what? Except for people misunderstanding, misquoting, and being stupid and not realizing the facts. I happen to be more of a fact guy myself. Right. That's the kind of shit you need in court, but not with idiots. Not with idiots. You just need something convincing, and that's good enough.
Well, Rob, thankfully, a lot of these fans, though, they are able to tell you and give you their opinions. And I think, in certain ways, Rob, advice, because, like, everybody as I think to an extent, they must have stepped in a wrestling ring and know how that all works and everything like that to kind of dole out this kind of opinions and thoughts and call you out on some of your BS. I think you're right.
And I'll share this with you. When it comes to them being willing to actually go so far, I'm going to get touched up. When they're willing to go so far as to give me unwanted advice, I know that means a lot, because I know that when they're alone, in order to do that, they have to tell themselves that RVD would be happy if he could trade his life for mine. And that's why I want to give him advice, so that he can understand how to be more like me and not like him, and have his life. And I just want you to know, I am so thankful that they realize that.
Rob, I mean, you're a bigger person than I to admit something like that.
240. Put on a couple pounds.
Man, thank you, fans.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, I can keep going on. Let me tell you. I wrote some notes here.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. I'll go through while you're talking and see if there's anything that. Oh my God, there's so much stuff. But here's one thing that I want to say, because what I think is likely is these fans on X, the ignorant ones, they don't know me. They don't know that I pride myself on being honest, and that I've always been open-mouthed, talking in any company. They don't like that I do whatever I want and show up in any company, because they, for some reason, these new, especially AEW fans, don't think you should be allowed to do that. You should be all in AEW or nothing. That's what I'm learning. But here's something else. Since you don't know me, fans, you're able to fill in all the blanks about me with your own imagination. You only know me by one dimension, maybe by a wrestler, maybe by a pothead. You know, I saw one comment. There was a video about my match with Eddie Guerrero when the fan ran in, and somebody interviewed me on what I remembered about it. And I said, oh, you know, or what I was thinking. I guess it was probably the Chris Van Vliet thing. And anyway, one of the comments said, I don't think Rob really remembers what happened there. I think he just remembers seeing this video. You know, marijuana takes away a lot of your memory. And that's like such a basic thinking, ignorant way for somebody. It's the only one thing you know about me. What if my family gets Alzheimer's in their 40s? Would that be a factor? If I did have a bad memory, which I don't, which you guys know because I'm spitting facts and dates out at you on the podcast every week. But thing is, they wouldn't even consider anything else. All they know is the one thing. So that's going to be whatever. RVD died today. I knew that marijuana would get him. That's so dumb. But basic thinkers can only think one thought at a time. And that's whatever makes it to their head first. So here's what I wanted to do for you. I wanted to make you realize that if you just know the RVD wrestling on TV, and then you're disappointed when you meet the real RVD, which is me, then I got some news for you. You and I are not quite the same. And why am I doing this? Separating us? I think you need it for growth. I think you need to realize that right now, this is a real person. I have my own values, not yours. So everybody that thinks, man, I would love to hang out with RVD and man, just have him for the weekend. We'd go to the woods, we'd go hunting and fishing and tell stories about wrestling. Guess what? I would not enjoy that at all. I hate the thought of hunting and fishing, getting mosquitoes bitten on me. I'm not even an outdoors man. I would miss my fucking bidet. You want me to wipe my ass with leaves? No, thank you. All right. That's one. Okay, what else? Well, you know how you guys like race cars? It's exciting, and that motor goes, wah, and you think that's really cool. I don't like that. I don't know anything about cars. It's nothing I ever paid attention to. The loudness in general is annoying. Loud motors for sure. And I don't know if it's a Ford or a Chevy or a Toyota that's passing me on the road. That's me, okay? Hey, you know how fun it is to go to football games? Well, guess what? I don't think I've watched a football game since I was in high school. And even then, I wasn't really watching the games. I was walking underneath the bleachers, goofing around, doing social things. But I don't think I've seen a football game since then. So, am I a fan of the Detroit Lions? Am I a fan of this team or that team? Sure, why not? Right? Well, what about baseball? When baseball's in season, that's fun, right? I don't think I've seen a baseball game since probably when I was a teenager. I remember going to support somebody shortly after that, some games that I might have been involved in, or maybe I worked with a grocery store that was part of the team, in which case I'm a hypocrite if I was part of the team and they played, and then I'm saying I don't watch it. Does that make me a hypocrite? Oh, no. You and I are different there, okay? Soccer, same thing. Golf, dude, never watched a golf game. I don't imagine why I would. Never played a golf game. The miniature golf I've played, and I did go one time to that Golf Land, whatever you call it, the big thing that's popular now with Booker T, and tried to putt. But it's just not my thing. Surely when the Olympics are on, I set aside some time and support the good old USA, right? I can't remember the last time I watched any of the Olympics. All right. I don't spend my time the same way that you spend your time. We have different values. Okay. In order to be one of a kind, it isn't just that I do moves different and that I'm laid back and cool. Everything that I prioritize, everything that I spend my time studying or doing, there's a good chance that it's a little different than what you spend your time with. In fact, I don't even really like competition. I don't. I like watching fights. If it's MMA, I enjoy that. If it's a fight on the streets, I may enjoy it on Instagram. And maybe if it's something happening in front of me, but if it's the screaming and louding, the big lead up for a fight on the streets, I'm out of there. I'll just walk right by it, pull Katie with me. I don't want to put the drama over. If they're swinging and stuff, I might stop to see how it turns out. That's more like real life than playing football, because you could get attacked for your money or for your car or for anything, and you could find yourself in an actual physical altercation in real life. So that's different. For me, I feel like that's interesting, seeing, what really works, what doesn't in certain situations. But as far as competing, do I want to race? No. Like when people want to be competitive with me, I feel like I got enough W's in my life. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? Why do I need another one to beat you, arm wrestling or whatever? Sometimes, depending on who it is, the idea of friendly competition, if it's two dudes that want to see who's better at something, whatever. But overall, I don't watch it. I don't watch competition. I don't watch boxing. It's not something that I do a lot. And I'm just sharing this with you because we not like you or whatever. How about people? You want to go somewhere where it's really crowded? Dude, they're having the grand opening at that Irish bar. It looks packed. Let's go. Fuck no. That sounds horrible to me. I don't want to go where everyone's packed and it's sardine. No. I mean, bunch of years ago, yeah, because I was hoping to get some pussy. Maybe then hoping to look at some good looking girls and maybe meet somebody or something, but just to go out and be because everyone else is there. That's the opposite reason of wanting to go out. You want to go and go to this new bar, man? They got live music playing tonight. Fuck no, I hate live music. Not a fan. I hate it when I'm trying to eat dinner, I'm trying to talk to you and you can't hear me because the music's so loud. And I'm like, I can't hear what? Well, never mind. I'll tell you in a minute. I don't enjoy that stuff. And I'm not a fan of music. You want to go to a concert? The only concerts I go to are if I'm chaperoning, like sometimes I'll go with Katie and just be there to feel like her bodyguard or whatever, or to support, Cypress Hills in town. They're friends of ours. Yeah, we'll come down and see you and hang out and smoke some weed. Cool. But am I singing? No. Am I dancing? No. You want to go to karaoke, I don't. You're not going to see me pretending that I'm the one that sings this song on the radio. That doesn't sound fun to me. And same thing about dancing. That's not something I do. Now, out of that long list, I must have hit a few of you. I mean, I think everybody must fall into some of those categories. If that's part of your life. And my point is, that's not part of mine. So if the image of RVD that you created in your head, that you fantasize about, is different than what you just learned about the real me, then so be it. Grow the fuck up.
Hell yeah, Rob. Hell yeah. Everybody's like, you're dropping some facts on here, Rob. Maddie says it too.
I'm one of a kind. You know what? I don't like holidays. You want to go see the fireworks? I fucking don't like fireworks. I'm not into them. Sometimes it can be like if it's really timed right with music and it's really big and extravagant, it can be cool. I'll admit that. But overall, it's so redneck. People just shooting up. Pew! Oh, wow, that's exciting. Let's, noise pollution, air pollution, ground pollution. I'm not a fan. And, and I wouldn't be offended if someone says, wow, Rob sounds boring, because I'm okay with that, because I got somebody that doesn't think I'm boring, and she's the only one I want to spend my time with.
That's it. Rob, do you like bowling, though? Are you a bowling guy?
I have bowled as an adult a few times. I was in a bowling league, and like in the last 10 years, maybe I've gone twice. Found out I wasn't as good as I used to be. The last time that I remember was a wrap-up party for the Shark movie, Three-Headed Shark Attack.
Oh.
And I was one of those guys that went out there, threw it, and then fell on my ass. And I did it twice. It was so embarrassing, because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to be on a league. Like, what is going on here? And it wasn't fun.
No, I'm an awful bowler. When I get blackout drunk, though, I bowl better. Like, if I'm hammered, I can do a better job of bowling. But yes, I find bowling fun. But yes, I just opened a new Turtle Beach headset, the Stealth 700. And man, I did a little pre-opening beforehand because I'm a klutz. And my cat is also a klutz, because during a live recording once with RVD, this was a couple weeks ago when we had Mike Kyoto on, he actually knocked over my Xbox. And it's up about 4 feet high. So it face planted. I thought it was dead. But thankfully, the Xbox is pretty sturdy and it wasn't. And now I get to use this headset here. Bear with me. Maybe some editing here happening. All right. Ooh, man. Yeah, that cancels everything out. Very comfortable on my head. And I can just only imagine what the audio quality is going to be like. I feel like a fighter pilot. I feel like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. But whatever you play, you can engage and chat, talk some trash. I usually don't talk trash because I'm horrible, and I always lose at Fortnite. So, but what you can do too is use promo code RVD. Use the link and use promo code RVD to get 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com. And you can feel good about your gaming experience. It's already elevating it. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to plug this in and try it out. And I'll give a further review in a later video. But go to turtlebeach.com, use promo code RVD, and get 10% off your order. All right, guys. See you later. Happy gaming. And, yes, let's go Bucks. That's the thing, too, Rob. People have these expectations of certain people and what they envision them to be. And it's just like, no, that's not, you don't got to adhere to anything like that. And people voice their opinion. It's just, I was getting literally during that whole day where people were just tweeting at you and all that stuff, I was legitimately getting mad. And I'm like, I just got to stay out of most of this stuff. But there was an independent wrestler that's retired now. He was saying some stuff like Jerry Lynn and RVD started all this. They ruined more careers than the Bat Spot did. And I'm like, dude, you're not looking at that in any kind of context whatsoever. You're just saying something like that. And I'm like, I was getting very mad, but I was like, all right, no, I'm not going to let this happen. And I know Rob doesn't give a shit, any of this stuff either, ultimately. So.
Right. But that's some of the fans, of course, the ones that don't know me, they're like, I've never seen RVD so worked up. I didn't know anything could piss him off. And they're imagining like I'm just like throwing things around my house. Grrr! That's not what hypocrite means.
People are fucking idiots, though.
You know, it's like, surely they'll understand this example. Okay, what if, and then each time they're like, oh, no, that's a hypocrite.
Nope.
One guy actually said, well, you are making me think now. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to end it right there.
I made a little progress. If you can do that, make people think a little bit on Twitter, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
All right. We have some super chats in here. Jem the Dawn, maybe you understand what he means by this. And Jem, if we don't understand it, you can feel free to clarify. How do you like / story behind your Shadows Fall theme? Do you know what he means by that, Rob? I'm very confused.
No, I'm trying to decipher it, and I don't know. I think maybe the Shadows Fall theme. Maybe that's the band that did my music when I first came into WWE. Maybe. Remember something about Fury? No, I thought it was something Fury.
Wasn't it Breaking Point that did your theme first?
Well, but before that, though.
Oh.
They had a song when I came in. I don't know. And I'm not very, but it's in my head now. How do you know if it's a dun dun or if it's a bong bong or it's a near bong 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 bong? How do you know what noise to make? I'll hum it. That way they all sound the same. Anyway, when I got there, I was kind of upset that they weren't using Walk.
Yeah.
So I went to Dano. It's like, dude, what's up, man? Why not Walk? So I didn't give that first song much of a chance at all. And when I hear it now, I do like it.
It is good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't even recognize it because I talked to Shano and he made me think maybe we could use Walk. And I thought, well, ECW already paid Kilgore to cover it, and you own ECW, so you must own the rights to Kilgore's version of it. Let's just do that. And I thought it was going to be that easy. And instead, Shano said, hey, I want you to come out to the truck a different week. And I went out there and he put on Breaking Point. And then, so what do you think about this? And again, I didn't give it that much of a chance the first time I heard it because I was like, well, what happened to Walk? And I still don't know what happened. Like, I thought we were going to be doing that. So I was first like, it was like, no, I think this is it or whatever. And I was like, and then I found out they actually wrote it for me. And then I felt like owning it a little more. And now, of course, I love the reaction. Everyone's used to hearing the beginning of that song. But at the time I was stuck on Walk. That was the first musical connection I'd probably made in my life. I picked that song out and it was perfect and everyone loved it. And I felt like, no, like that the more my real identity or my ECW identity that I was building that I could keep, I felt like the better, the more solid my fortitude, my nucleus, everything I'd be less changed if I was still RVD from ECW, still came out to the same music. All that sounded good to me. So anything more that I would have to change, I thought was going to just dissipate me, my image, my character. That's kind of things you think about at that point.
Yeah, and instead too, Rob, I think it like kind of more reflects your eras of going through. Like, okay, here's your ECW era, this is your WWE era, and like both those teams are really good in their own right. Like, it's just like, man, yeah, I can resonate with Rob Van Dam through Breaking Point or through with Pantera too.
And with TNA, and then there was a completely different one.
And then the Rob Van Dam. Yeah, that one too.
That's the one I have the rights to.
Yes. I'm gonna do some sound drops. I think of that too for future episodes that we do. Jem the Dawn also follows up. Rob, did you see this? Any thoughts of the Maven sit down with Just Incredible? Did you see that clip at all?
I did. That's a great thing to bring up. But first, I want to say on Jem the Dawn's last question, I'm wondering now, maybe he's asking what I thought about the story that might have been in the song. Maybe the song told a story, and if so, than I wish I knew, because I never even really listened to it that much. And I don't know what Fury is. Here Comes the Fury or something. But I thought that was either the song or the band. And what he put down there, I could be wrong, but that also makes me think of that song. That's why I thought that's what he was talking about. But anyway, he's already moved on to the next one. So yeah, so Maven, he already gets huge numbers on his YouTube channel. And now I don't know if he's going to keep doing a lot of these. I believe some of them are going to be like the one that he did with Just Incredible, and it's like an investigative piece. Have you seen it, Dom?
Yes, I did. I watched most of it. I didn't watch all of it though, but
I thought it was really good, and a lot of work that he put into it. But he shows himself going to Just Incredible's place, and it's just like watching To Catch a Predator, where you got that behind the scene feel of following all the action in, and it confronts him about a lot of the claims that fans have made and people that have worked with Justin. A lot of them say that they got scammed, or that he screwed them over. He came across very likable. You could tell that Maven liked him, and Maven was trying to help him out by giving him a chance to explain himself. I actually thought about having him on our show, and I thought he might bury himself, and I didn't want that. And I only know like what I hear. I mean, when I hear from him, he's fine, and he seems fine, and he seems, like he's, let's go with fine. But he also seems, from the interview, culpable of a lot of these misdeeds and appropriations. So they're talking about, well, this guy says, that he sent you money for a picture or whatever, and you never sent it or whatever. He's like, dude, I haven't even talked to that guy in 16 years. Like, he kept saying that. And the thing is, we're talking about 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait for Maven to call him on that and say, well, yeah, we're talking about, 2010 or even before that. And he goes, I haven't talked to that guy in 20 years. And that is what we're talking about. So Justin's message seemed to be, yeah, I did all that stuff, but I didn't mean to. I didn't have bad intentions. That's the way it came across. So I don't know how people are going to get reimbursed with kindness and good intentions.
Yeah, I from what I saw too, like he was saying stuff like that too, and I think at some of the points he was like, "Well, I was really fucked up at that point, so I probably did do something like that." He did mention some of that stuff too, so he owned up to some of it too, and he seems like a nice guy. It just seems like substance abuse and some of the struggles that he's gone through is kind of hit him, and he used to do interviews with Wade Keller, Pro Wrestling Torch, and I would listen to them, and I'd like, Justin's a really smart guy when it comes to wrestling and stuff like that, and I thought his perspective was great. But then there would just be some moments where there'd be a disconnect, and you could definitely see he was going through something. So hopefully he's on the mend with a lot of that stuff, but it's a tough thing. But yeah, I thought it was a interesting video, and Maven seemed like genuine about his intention, I think, overall.
And at the end, Maven does a little add-on where he says, apparently Justin hasn't changed his ways. After we did the interview, X, Y, and Z happened. And I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's part of it too. So he's like, I like Justin, but he seemed to be admitting, but saying like, what are you going to do? Like, hey, you so-and-so sent you money because you were supposed to, send them this DVD and you never sent it. And he's like, well, no, I mean, I do that one. I do remember, but we had to eat. My family had to eat, It's not the best excuses or reasons to, but also at the same time, you can kind of understand.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully things turn around for him, and because I always liked Justin just as a fan too. I appreciate his work as the Impact players and all that stuff too. So Hopefully everything turns around. RDU3 has a funny comment, Rob. He says, RVD took me to the woods once and we hunted and fished and listened to music and shot off fireworks and played a bit of baseball before we drove home in his loud Chevy Ford/Dodge truck.
Does that make me a hypocrite?
Yeah, I think it does.
We turned the music all the way up in there.
All the way up.
Yeah.
Then we went to a concert. All right, here's a super chat from Frankie Turizo. He always asks the good questions. Do you collect 80s and 90s action figures? And if so, which ones? Who are some of your favorite Marvel Comics characters? I know Ghost Rider. Who are some other ones, Rob?
So I really don't collect anything right now other than RVD action figures, which I think I have 90 of different ones. And that might be included. That's including the big ones too. I don't know if that's including the Funko Pop. Would you call the Funko Pop an action figure?
Yes, I would.
And what about what's the Wobblehead one?
Bobbleheads?
Bobblehead, yeah.
I guess I would. Yeah, I guess I would. If I'm considering Funko Pops a figure.
So like, I used to collect Ghost Rider, and then some of my favorite Marvel characters. Sometimes, man, just because I have a collector's mentality, but I don't give in to that stuff anymore. Since the divorce, it's just not as important to me. Like I grew up in certain areas where priorities changed, but it used to be, I love Spider-Man, and a lot of my memories of Spider-Man had to do with the heels that he was facing, so like it, whether it's Hobgoblin, I loved Bullseye always. And then I loved it when they healed. Then I became a fan of Bullseye, so I like it when he was a Daredevil heel villain, but he also would fight Hulk or whatever because it's the Marvel universe. So I had some of the cool figures that I used to have, but I think the only one I have right now is Spider-Man the Wrestler. I saved that one because it's Spider-Man the Wrestler.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know they made a figure like that.
Yeah, so I definitely still have that one. I probably have a few, but they're probably in boxes, random ones, but they're not as important as they used to be. I used to have a bunch of, every Ghost Rider one that I could ever hear of. And then I had the collection from, what's that series? They made a TV show from it where Preacher. Did you ever get into Preacher?
Preacher, I know the series, and I know the graphic novel. I think Garth Ennis wrote the graphic novel.
Yeah, so I used to think that was cool because it was kind of different. The action figures from that line, I loved Nightmare as a Marvel villain. So I would have random ones like that. I wouldn't have to. I don't know if Deadpool. When I got into Deadpool, how many figures? There's 5 different ones of them. Okay, I have to have them. And then I had to hunt them down. And it used to be fun because, there wasn't so much just get on the website in Amazon and find it. Back then, it was more go to comic conventions.
Yeah, you have to look. You got to go.
I got that one Deadpool that I don't have. Yeah.
I have the new Deadpool. Oh, dropped Homer. Wolverine. The Wolverine Deadpool one right here.
Nice. Yeah. What a cool character Deadpool is. Do
you like that he breaks the fourth wall and all that stuff? Do you like that aspect of him?
I do because he's crazy, and so that's how they explain it off.
Yeah.
But he's just crazy, and he's hearing voices in his head anyway all the time. So it kind of like makes sense. He can see us.
Yeah.
or he knows he's living in a story. I do like it.
Yeah, it's a change of pace too, and I like too that he assimilates into the Marvel universe in general. He's a rival Wolverine, like even before the movie came out, that was always a big story and stuff. So
he wants to be a good guy, but he kills people.
But he kills people still, nonetheless.
I love him.
I like him.
And I had the Incredible Hulk Maestro. Do you know what that is?
No,
We probably didn't get rid of that one. So this is from a limited series graphic novel where everybody on the world is destroyed except for Hulk, and so he takes over, and he's got like, and before I knew the story, I think he might just have something to do with everyone being destroyed. But the thing that was really cool was he's got like a belt, and it's got like all the other superheroes' armor on. He's got Captain America's shield and Iron Man's helmet and Thor's hammer and shit like that on his belt, like like souvenirs from battles or whatever.
Yeah, like trophies or whatever. Yeah.
I fell in love with the figure first before I even knew what the story was. I was like, this is sweet. And then in the story, he's like the king of everything. There's nothing alive that can fight him. And so he does whatever. And he takes everybody's women. He's got a big harem of all the hot bitches that are alive and makes everyone else a slave.
Well, did you ever read the Old Man Logan stuff too?
I don't think so.
Okay, there's something akin to that with the Hulk in that storyline, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay. I want to get invested. I haven't read it like I do with a lot of things, but I have the Age of Apocalypse, the X-Men Age of Apocalypse, where it's like the alternate universe of that stuff. I want to really get into that stuff where it's like the other world kind of thing. It's kind of neat, I think, too.
Someday I'll have to bust open my comics and see what I have, because I got rid of almost all of them, but I kept like one box of stuff that was special to me. Like I'm sure I kept all my Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
Probably tried to keep all the crossovers that have them in it. But like Spider-Man 252 when he first comes back with the black outfit.
Yeah, the symbiote outfit. The symbiote outfit. Yeah.
Which becomes Venom, right? But we didn't know that yet. But
yeah, we didn't know that yet. Did you like The Watchmen?
Didn't see it, and I didn't understand the comic. Like I don't think I read a whole one, but I remember looking at it one time and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it's very like, that was pretty immersive, and I was like, definitely like they tied into the societal aspects of things, somewhat like usually what comics do, but in an interesting way.
Did you ever see 100 Bullets? I used to love that one.
No, I remember hearing about that though.
It was these were so that the Preacher, 100 Bullets. There's another, even Transmetropolitan, another good one. I like those. They're like adult reads.
Yeah.
It's more interesting and not so superhero-y. And those were some other titles I got into.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at that now, the 100 Bullets thing. And trying to see who wrote it. Oh, Brian Azzarello. He does great stuff. He did some good Batman stuff.
Dude, someone comes and drops a briefcase off with you, says there's a gun in there and a bullet, and you'll get, I don't know what you got, if it was $1 million or if it was whatever you wish, but the thing is, you got to kill somebody. It's going to be, someone you don't know, but they're going to tell you who it is, someone specific, and, I know a lot of people could do that without even thinking about it.
Wow, yeah.
They probably wouldn't even get the comic because they have no conscience or morals.
More morals.
They'd be like, what's the problem? Fuck yeah, shoot him.
Well, they might not buy it because comic book artists it's not a job for them. Maddie says, be yourself, weed, happiness, all you need, RVD. Do you have any WrestleMania predictions?
No, I don't know the card.
Yeah. What do you, okay, how about right off the bat? Do you think heel John Cena would defeat babyface Cody Rhodes for the title?
Yes.
I agree with you. I think that would happen. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, create some story, intrigue for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's big.
Mm-hmm. Big stuff. Kyle Z just liked what you were saying, so he put 3 fire emojis for you. So
cool.
Liked your stuff on there. 2 Utes, thanks for the $5. He says, who is the best wrestler to smoke with?
That's a good question, because I'm thinking about a lot of guys that I always smoke with, and I'm trying to think of, I guess the best guy would be the guy that always brings it and shares it. Unfortunately, that's usually me.
So you.
I like smoking with Book and Sabu.
Godfather?
Yeah, that's a good one too. I like smoking with Godfather. Well, maybe Jack Swagger. Okay, yeah, we can just start naming that. What Swerve's guy in AEW is managed?
Prince Nana.
Prince Dana. Let's put him
That's
over.
awesome. He's a good dude. I like Prince Nana.
Yeah, he's over. And Katie Forbes.
Hey, that's a good one too. Heck yeah. Kawhi Koju asks. Oh no, he just says, "You do as you do, Rob. You do as you do."
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Bernard has an interesting one here. Thanks for the $2. Has a guy who never politicked ever make it in WWE?
Well, it depends on what you consider make it. As far as I know, you can only get so far, but I don't think you can be in the very upper tier without politicking. In my opinion, that's in my understanding, because you would have to breach a certain point.
Was there a certain level that you kind of politics in certain ways to get in to make it higher in WWE than what you were? Because a lot of it was just, I think, from my perspective, was just your talent and your unique ability and your, persona and everything like that kind of got you. And you weren't about necessarily politicking, but did you kind of politic in certain ways?
I don't think so. And I think that's why I was limited, but I did I did make it to the top. So I guess I can't say it's impossible since I did it. I don't think I never felt like I was like their man, like they like I didn't talk with them about plans of what we were going to do. I was all about ECW, and that was going to be used against me eventually, no matter what. But I mean, maybe you could say maybe I politicized with an ECW bias, like maybe if you really tore it apart, maybe me saying ECW, we need to do ECW. Look at these numbers and look at these fans and look at these wrestlers that were ECW and look what we can do with it. I guess, I could see where one might argue that was politicking.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like you're kind of campaigning for it, right? You're like, hey, Vince, look at this. This look at the value you can still get in something like a product like this, and make something out.
Yeah. So I never looked at it that way before, but I still think without politicking, I think you can, you might be able to get to mid card where everyone likes you, you're doing everything right, you're super over, but they just aren't going to do anything more with you as far as like put you in that main event where you get credit for drawing the houses and shit like that. Like, I think that takes politicking.
For sure. I think too, I hear I hear somebody like a Dom Mysterio is like very easygoing and he doesn't necessarily like really politic for himself, but he's over. He knows what he's doing. Like, so I think if you have a personality and identity that people can identify and relate with, and you're over, you may like the politicking doesn't necessarily come in, or maybe that just kind of falls into place for you in certain ways.
Well, you can get a certain you can get so far anyway,
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dom Mysterio's probably not going to be getting credit for main eventing WrestleMania and drawing the crowd, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole other level of that upper tier, where for me, during my time in ECW, it was like, of course, Triple H, Steve Austin, of course, The Rock when he was there, which was mostly TVs, and
like Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Sometimes Book would be there and work with those guys, but then I guess sometimes I would work with those guys too. But it didn't feel like it was on my shoulders like it was theirs. It felt like more like I was just visiting their house for a quick second.
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah. Oh, this is what you guys do. Sweet.
Oh, hey, dude, all right. I'll hang out for a little bit. This being one of a kind with RVD, who doesn't want to feel damn good at anything they do? And that includes their performance in the bedroom, huh? Well, let's talk about some Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong it'll knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noise that you'll be making. Yeah. Blue Chew Max has arrived, and it combines with the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. This combo acts fast and lasts. Guys, be ready when she needs it, and your first month of Blue Chew is free. Great sex is a few clicks away. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the US of A, and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. So make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And you know it, we got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use promo code RVD. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code RVD. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Who do I got to talk to? Like, who do I got to tell's awesome, and who do I got to take to dinner?
What's going on here? This wasn't a super chat, but I thought it was a cool quote. Darren Staley says, F. Scott Fitzgerald, the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. That's a pretty interesting quote.
I like that because I'm always trying to explain, I use the term basic thinkers, and that's exactly what I mean is they can only think of one thing. And it's so easy to fall into that because it's the easiest way to be. It requires the lowest amount of thinking or doing anything. Is just be a basic thinker. The first thought that's in your head, just go with that. Don't ever question it. Don't think about how other people could feel. No room for empathy. Just me and how this affects me. That's the person that's like driving. The hell are they in such a hurry for? Like, what the fuck do you care? They're already past you. You're already part of their earlier in the day. Shut the fuck up.
That's true too. That's funny, Rob, because when we started, it was probably even episode 1, you mentioned basic thinkers. And I never really put it together about hey, people do just think one-minded things a lot of the time. And then it's made me put things in a lot of perspective moving forward too. Is okay, I think of it initially like this, but how else can I think of it outside of it?
That's a great way to get there is you got to force yourself to do it, and then it'll become habit. Eventually you'll do it more. But these guys, most of the basic thinkers, they can't do it. It's totally not possible for them to consider that guy might be in a hurry for a good reason.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm.
They can't think that. They're just stuck on that one thought in their head, which was that was dangerous and not fair and loud,
right.
Inconvenient for me.
Yeah, you messed up my day, so I'm thinking about it this way.
Yeah. There's so many people like that, and so I guess Scott Fitzgerald has it right there. The test of first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time, so retain the ability to function. I love it because I didn't go to Scott Fitzgerald school, but that certainly is consistent with RVDology as well. And I try to. I always question my own thoughts. Sometimes it's annoying because it makes me more unsure than I thought I was before. I could feel really certain about something, It could be anything. It could just be I wonder why they got a bridge, way up there. And then I start thinking of the possibilities of why they could have it. And some of them make sense. And I'm like, I wonder if that's what it's for. Is that what they, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best example. So, but sometimes I question my own, is this the right thing? Is that the way I should? But not when I'm arguing with the idiots on X. I already know that. But just sometimes just about me and my path, and when I get into deep stuff, I have to question everything, just like I have to stretch to feel like I'm at my best, because I can feel the outer limits of everything and feel my full range of everywhere I can go. I feel like I got to do that with things that I think about too, because there's consequences. You got to consider them, if you're fine with the consequences, you know, like, hey, I don't want to spend my 10 days off going to Qatar to the battle zone. I'm fine with you firing me or whatever. I hate it here anyway. Oh, does that make me a hypocrite because I was working there and I hated it? You know, sometimes I did hate it and sometimes I liked it. So sometimes I guess I was a hypocrite, and I guess I wonder what the opposite of hypocrite is for the basic thinking AEW fans on the IWC. What's the opposite of a hypocrite? Someone that's consistent? Because I would think genuine, but for them, I don't know, because I don't know if genuine is a bad thing and if hypocrite's a good thing. If they think
if you're genuine, you could still be a hypocrite, though.
If you're genuine, you could still be a hypocrite.
Yeah,
I guess so. You come out of jail and you say, "Hey, kids, don't do what I did." Does that make you genuine and a hypocrite? I think by the basic people's thinking, that falls into that category. But is that a good thing? Should you say, "Hey, kids, kill people"? Is that
because I did it?
Because then you're not. Yeah, then you're not a hypocrite.
Yeah,
because that's a good thing. I don't know. Anyway, I can't spend another 2 hours on that, but I appreciate you, thick-headed fans that refuse to listen to logic.
That's it. Hey, we'll close out with this here, Rob, from Bernard, $2. He says fans are mixed on Jey Uso. What do you think, Rob? What's been your impression of Jey Uso and his run he's recently been on?
I thought that he was super over. I didn't know that that there was any heat on him. I haven't been watching the show lately, so when you ask about, you know, like current stuff like that, I'm not the best one to answer. Last time I saw it, he was doing yeet yeet and everyone's doing it back, and to me I think that's, I don't get it, you know. So to me, it's like, what is that? That's stupid. But that's just but why don't I quit? Why don't I tell them? I don't feel that strongly about it. It's just according to my values and how strongly I feel about it, I decide how I react to it. And when I react to it, I'm like, it's super over. Just like when Daniel Bryan would say, yes, I thought that was dumb. That was me in a competitive state of mind as a wrestler, which I still am. I'm not as much, and I try to work on not being as competitive, but I am competitor biased. I do still watch wrestlers and be like, I know what they're trying to do, man. That don't work, you know, or man, how did they get over that? How come the fans love that so much? You know, like some of that is just it's definitely biased. It's not a strong feeling. It's just something, you know, that's like, they ain't me. We're all biased towards ourselves, by the
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah. Do you think so? Like you say you're not a competitive person. I agree with that, but you still kind of get a little bit of that competitive edge when you're like kind of looking at it from the wrestling landscape of things, I guess.
My perspective still is, yeah, you know, the guys now are making a hell of a lot of more money than we were making when we were doing it. You know, like in reality, I'm happy. I think that's awesome. Go for them, keep crushing it. But of course, part of me is gonna be, you know, like gonna look at that like, man, I worked my ass off, you know, and was, you know, and got this, and now they're getting that, and that, you know. I mean, part of me has to. That's what I mean, though, about having more than one thought. Like I explore all of that, and I'm able to understand different perspectives at the same time, even if all of those perspectives aren't the winning thought that dominates what I would call my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
the best way to explain it. Like when dude said, if you didn't like New Jack throwing Grimes off the scaffold or whatever, if you didn't like that, then why didn't you quit? There was no reason to quit. I didn't feel that strongly about it. What a stupid question. And anyway, it's just one of those things where if I thought about it in my mind, I'd be like, did I like it? No, you know, I didn't like it. But that I feel strongly enough about it to pick it with a sign like Kimberly or that girl, the sign holder out in front of the ECW arena to say, stop the shit. No, you guys are ridiculous. And by the way, I didn't quit AEW. Like, if that's what the offense was, if they thought that I'm AEW and that I quit or something like that, no. In fact, I worked, I think 4, 5, 6 times for AEW and had a single standalone per match contract each time. In fact, I did talk to Tony recently. We have a great relationship. And the AEW fans that don't understand it, it's because you're dumb and you don't know how dumb you are. You're the same people that didn't understand how I could come to AEW when I cleverly came up with that term, all petite wrestling. During that, someone were like, oh no, what? He's going there now. He shouldn't be allowed in. This blows my simple brain.
Yeah, people don't understand about it's a business, and people can you just do business.
Because we all do it for fun, and we all love it, and we just find a way to make money while we're doing it. Sometimes I stand on the corner, at an intersection, and I just say, "Hey, man, I just want to wrestle. You might help me pay my bills."
I'm just living to wrestle, man. You gotta give me the money.
I'm just doing it because I like it.
That's it. That's the only reason. No, to go back to Jey Uso real quick, he's over. I think there's a contingency that online that he's getting pushback on, like, oh, Jey Uso is not doing. I think ultimately, though, if you take a tab of your WWE fans out there, yes, he's over. Like the kids love him. And he's for the younger demographic, and he's super over in that regard. So I think that's more of a misnomer online than anything else.
Is it kind of like the heat that Roman used to get when he was pushed down everyone's throat? And I
think maybe there is a little bit more value to criticism with Roman, I think, but I do think to an extent, yeah, it's in that realm of things where, like, Roman was probably like many fan favorites to it, but I think Jey Uso is even more so. I think he's selling merch like crazy. It's just like that's what a good litmus test is. So I think he's super over. I think a lot of fans are just not liking maybe how they're doing the WrestleMania build, and you're getting online opinions that give that perception that he's not over as much. But yeah, I think he's over. Even though I'm not into the yeet stuff either, but I get it though.
I already said I'm not into dancing. What do you expect?
Yeah, right. And that's like, yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it too when a lot of wrestlers like rely on their theme music, and that's kind of what gets them over. And outside of that, there's not a whole lot of else to it. I think I like Seth Rollins. I think he's very talented, and I think but some of his persona and stuff like that, it's more of a heelish identity than it is babyface identity. I think a lot of his theme gets himself over and stuff like that, but I think he's much better as a heel anyways, but just opinion stuff. So there we go.
LZ over here in the chat room, I'm way back at the beginning, but it says I can get custom RVD thumbs for $1.99.
Yeah, so if we create a membership on RVD TV, we can do something where I can make the little emojis that they have. And that would be something that we could definitely consider. I could look into it. Maybe I could figure out some ideas that we could do some membership content a little bit.
They used to tell me that was a reason to do Twitch too, was because you could have emojis.
Yeah, you can do emojis. So I could create like, I think it's like 3 or 4 or something like that. So maybe that's something to look into then, Kyle. Thanks for putting that in my head. I'll look into it a little bit. All right, so we just got one more super chat here. Somebody just posted. I think it was Kyle. Yes, it is. On your last Japan tour following Mr. Monday Night in 1997, who were the young boys you were beating to death, and how did they besmirch you? You beating up some young boys, Rob?
Well, I don't know, because he says my last Japan tour
following Mr. Monday Night. So the 1997, after 1997.
but I mean not my last meaning my most recent, but my last meaning the last in 97.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what he's referring to, is like around
Last
that era.
tour following 97. Well, I don't know the answer anyway, but I wrestled for All Japan until 99 when Giant Baba died. Even though I myself have gotten the date wrong several times and said 97, I recently learned Baba didn't die till 99. And then I wrestled for All Japan again after he died one time for Mrs. Baba. And then you know, other companies as well, like New Japan, IWGP, WWE, and the TNA Super Show and FMW and Noah. Holy shit, that's a lot of times.
Yeah, that's a lot of Japan promotions. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it gets left out of my career a lot of times when I'm reading something about me, an article about me. A lot of times they leave that out, but that was a big part of my career. It used to be.
Do you take pride, a certain amount of pride in being like, oh, I wrestled for this promotion, that promotion, this promotion, like kind of having that wide range of companies that you work for? Do you find it kind of neat that like you've wrestled for like the major, like WCW, ECW, obviously, and then WWE? Like, is that something you kind of look at in a neat way, or do you not really value that too much?
No, I mean, it's been a really long and colorful career. So those are all accolades, you know. Also, I think that you have to wrestle for at least a minimal amount of different companies in order to consider yourself fully rounded. You know, and in Japan used to be so different. I think it probably still is, but there's so many different companies now, and a lot of different companies have different styles from each other, even. But it used to be, you know, not everyone could go to Japan because not everyone would get over there because you had to be athletic and appreciate stiffness and a lot of things, you know, be able to eat their food. But
that's a huge thing.
Yeah, be able to survive over there for a few weeks, you know, without America. But what I was getting at was shit. What was I getting at? Going to Japan? Oh, so someone that's like just been on the Indies, for instance,
right?
They haven't been to WWE yet. They don't know that when they do get to WWE is going to have to. They're going to have to make some changes. So they're going to have to adapt to that style, and they don't want to. You know, I used to not want to, and and they're going to tell you slow down, and you're gonna fight it, and then but then eventually after you've done that and you realize you've done both styles, now you feel more well-rounded, and also you understand your connection with the crowd more because they taught you how to make what you're doing mean more, and to get the crowd to connect and take the ride with you instead of being shocked and awed and not having time to even see what you're giving them because you're not giving them time to see it, you know. And then if you went to Japan, East Germany, you know, like it used to be like if you went all there and you were a really good talent, one of the top wrestlers, then boom, now you got a full rounded wrestler that's worked all these different styles, and the result of that used to be a lot different than the indie-rific guys that just think they're as good as they ever need to be, and this is how it works because this is how they do it in their little smaller promotion of scripted, let's pretend we're a big group of wrestlers federation.
Well, yeah, and it's funny too. Like I just mentioned Seth Rollins. Part of his issue when he first went to WWE was that he was having difficulty adapting to their style and was kind of pushing back against it. But ultimately he did. And now he's like one of their, you know, big cowbell carrier for the company and stuff like that.
And probably if you ask them, he would probably say that he appreciates the changes that he had to make and stuff.
Absolutely. And I think he has said that before.
And certain idiots are going to hear that and say, you're saying that because they're paying you to say it.
Yeah, that's something people are saying too. It's
unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
No. There was something else I wanted to touch upon just real quick when you were talking about that. Fuck, what was it? Dang it. I can't remember. It was an interesting point, though. Well,
Months
cool.
in.
It's been a good show, Rob. We're having almost 11,000 people tune in right now. 11,000.
Sweet.
Thanks everybody for doing
And
it.
they all tuned in for Bobby, and we don't even have him, but he's going to be a guest on next week's show.
Yeah, we're gonna get him on here at one point.
We're going to have him behind a black curtain, but it'll be him.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. It's going to explain wonderful married life and catch us up on the Chillicothe. All right, cool, dude. Boom. Okay, yeah. All right, man. What's going on this week? Oh yeah. Well, can't talk about that. Boom.
Boom. There you go. Guys, though, we can talk about, you can follow RVD at The Real RVD on all the social media accounts. You can subscribe to Only Wrestlers, onlywrestlers.com. Do it now. You can sign up for free. You can subscribe to Rob for free, Katie Ford for free, and Only Wrestlers for free as well. Plenty of other talents on that webpage as well. So be sure to check it out. Get in there on the early front while this continues to grow and develop. Speaking of growing and developing, help us grow and develop here at One of a Kind with RVD by rating us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your damn podcasts. And be sure to like and subscribe at rvdtv.com. Help us grow this channel as well. And maybe we can do some membership stuff like Kyle Z was talking about. RVD 420. If you want to smoke like RVD, get some Greek glass stuff, quality merchandise there, go to rvd420.com. And then finally, go to 1tsport.com for some exclusive RVD merch. There's going to be some changes coming to One True Sport and everything like that I will keep you all posted on. And you'll see it here eventually anyway. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. All our regulars and all the new folks. We appreciate everybody chiming on in, from Maddie to Triple E to Jem the Dawn. You name it. So many people here. So thanks, everybody. And Rob, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dominator. Thanks, Van Dam fam. See you next week.
See you next time here on One of a Kind with who? Oh, man. It's with RVD.
The whole fucking show.
He said it. I don't gotta.